Hello and welcome back to my studio. Well, recently I shared a video with tips on painting trees, and in that video I gave you a glimpse of a painting that I did of some trees and a lane, and now I'm going to show you the rest of that demonstration so you can sit back and enjoy this painting video in one of the beautiful little towns in South Africa. Okay, now this scene is in a little town called Karlitsdorp. It's in the Karoo region of South Africa, sort of a large semi-arid region filled with these beautiful little villages, all with a distinct character. And this one's no different. I can walk around this town and find these little scenes everywhere, little alleys, beautiful old Victorian cottages, shadows, light, trees. And I'm going to show you how I put this painting together. And hopefully you can get a few tips you can try it in your next painting as well. So let's dive in. This is the beautiful scene, and I cannot wait to get started with this painting. My basic palette with a couple of extra convenience colors like the cadmium orange. Getting in with a big brush on a small piece of paper. Now this is an oil painting. I'm painting on primed paper. Using a large brush, I'm starting with the number 8 to get these big shapes in. Starting with the darkest darks and going into these middle value greens. A little bit of suggestion of leaves and broken shapes just to create a bit of air around that big shape. Into the eucalyptus tree, which is a different looking tree, lots of sky holes, so painted with a bit of a lighter touch. And then into this lovely tree catching the light, and I'm interested in the shadow sort of cutting past the tree like this, or cutting through it, just thrown by that building on the right hand side. So that's going to be a feature I'm going to try and keep in the painting. Now in painting small like this, it's really a lot of fun because you can create nice big shapes quickly with a larger brush. And getting these nice impasto strokes in is so much easier to do, and I just find it so rewarding. That's why I paint quite a lot of small format paintings. They just speak so well to me as far as simplicity of shape and bold structure. However, for these branch and trunks, I've got my rigger brush out. Of course, you can do that in a small painting like this. For the most part though, this is all I'm going to use the rigger brush for, and then maybe to do the figure and sign my name at the end. Into the sky with cerulean blue, titanium white, that large brush once again. Vigorous brush strokes, be very definite and firm with your brush strokes. Don't hesitate. Decide what you want to do and then just do it. The energy of your brush stroke comes through and is visible to the viewer, and you don't want to create a painting made up of uncertain brush strokes. Moving clouds across the sky. A few strokes of the brush and that's all it takes. Getting a foundation color for that hill in the background. It's mostly coolish grey colors. I'll add some highlights to it to bring it to life. So orange, cerulean blue and white makes a basic grey color, and I can drop in a bit of orange there just to get some highlights. A sort of faded red to describe the tower of the church. Now Now with these sort of shapes, it's okay to paint them a little bigger because you can always cut in with the background shape and refine the positive shape that way. Some lighter colors, and also just to break up a shape. You want your tree shapes to look like they can actually let some air through, or even a few holes to let the birds fly through. You don't want them too solid and flat, so break up the edges and you'll get something that looks a little bit more atmospheric. Doing that right here with this tree as well. A few buildings showing through, little bright notes, and also the clock tower. Once again, with a small format like this, you can suggest shapes a lot easier. I find that a real challenge and a pleasure to do. I'd rather try and suggest something with 1 or 2 brush strokes than spend 100 brush strokes trying to do the shape or the object. It's a lot of fun trying to get the simple essence of something. And I believe if you can do that and you can start seeing shapes in their simple essence, you've actually made a breakthrough in your painting, and it's a real pleasure to simplify but still retain the interest or energy or the essential essence of that particular subject. For landscapes, of course, it's all about light. How does the light describe the shape? The light side, the dark side, the cast shadow, a middle value perhaps in between all of that. And that's all it takes to describe something. It could be a tree, building, whatever it is. Being able to describe it in that simple form is immensely satisfying. And I think anyone who paints in a Impressionist or contemporary Impressionist approach is trying to do that. Now putting down these highlights, it's white with a little bit of yellow. Don't ever use white without adjusting it with something else. A cool or warm color is essential to bring titanium white to life. Otherwise it's very cold indeed. Cool shadows, just a little bit of blue into that white, and you've got a shadow color on the wall. If you're not sure what to paint as far as a shape is concerned, remember the old tip of just closing your eyes halfway, doing that little bit of a squint will eliminate all the unnecessary shapes and details and show you the essential ones left over. Those are the ones that you paint. So now we're going to get into the shadow pattern as well of this painting. I've left that till last. Most of the pathway is in shadow. And while I'm making these finishing touches, I'm thinking of the colors I'm going to use for the shadow or the shadow pattern on the path. So blue, of course, is the primary color of shadows, but perhaps I'll lean it more to a violet. Those are some considerations you need to give. As long as it's not a warm violet, leaning towards a purple, you don't want that, it's too warm. You're going to need something a little cooler. So a blue violet, this is just a touch warm. I've just got to cool that down. and that illustrates exactly my point about shadows must look cool in the scene. Get the bigger brush just to complete the lower portion here. So once the shadow is in place, I can then bring in the lights, breaking up the shadow. Some suggested information within the shadow as well is often a good thing. You don't want the shape too flat. If it's a large shape, put something in there. Now it's kind of scumbling in the lights, mostly yellow and white, quite thick. Undiluted, no mediums in this painting at all. Just paint straight out the tube, mix it, put it down. I'm using bristle brushes, mostly long flats, a couple of smaller rounds like this as well, but the bristle brush can handle the paint quite well. You don't need to soften it up. Now finessing the painting, smaller shapes, little notes of light. Just breaking up this dark here with some of that fencing above the wall. Complete the painting with a few, I would say, essential details, but not so much details really, but rather notes of color. It could be just a few spots here or there, a couple of highlights on the tree trunks like this. I will also be adding a figure. I just feel that a figure is critical in a scene like this, so that will be coming up. Just in the rule of thirds here. Very simple. Small head, don't make the head too big. One leg longer than the other, and it looks like he's walking. Now a couple of final highlights. Stand back, have a look at your painting as well, see if it reads like a good, well-lit scene. Is light dominating? Is it about the light? If you've got that correct, then the painting is a success. It's not about the drawing, in my opinion, it's about the light. All these little impasto notes, really enjoy doing them. Let's get some nice yellow into this tree just to add a final zing to the painting. And that's it really. Very simple but satisfying. Just keep things simple. State the light very clearly. A few pops of color here and there, and you've done a good painting. You haven't overworked it, and that is so important. That's this little dark note to anchor the scene over here. Soften this edge. Time to sign off the painting. Let's have a look with the tape off. I enjoyed this painting, really a lot of fun doing little studies like this. Do them often and see your painting improve. Well, I hope there were some useful tips. You can try it in your next painting. Now, if you want to learn how to paint like this is all based on my foundation course called Learn to Paint with Impact. And that is suitable for oils, acrylics, gouache. So if you want to find out more about that course, have a look at my painting school. You can find a link up here or a link below. And I've got also a free course for you. You can just test out and see if you like what I've got to tell you. Now, if you don't want to miss the next video, please make sure you've subscribed, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified when the next video is up. All right, have a great weekend, enjoy your painting, and I'll see you next time. Cheers for now.